Alright YouTubers, what's happening? We're looking at a new knife here, and this is a Microtech, and this is the new UTX-85. The new model for this year, excuse me, not really a new model, a rehash on an old model that was been discontinued for quite a while now, for at least probably 3 or 4 years, and they decided to bring it back. Now what's different about this? It looks like an Ultratech. If you look at that, you're like, hey, that's an Ultratech. Well, here's an actual Ultratech. And there is the UTX-85. So you can see big difference in size. So what the 85 actually stands for is that it's 85% as big as the Ultratech. So there you go. So the differences are basically the size overall and your blade length on the, and that's a double-edged dagger on that one, is about 3 inches roughly. 3.1 I think is what they have it listed as, whereas the Ultratech is 3.5. So you get a little bit longer blade on the Ultratech, but you get a much longer handle. The handle is about 5 inches on the Ultratech, versus the UTX-85 is just a hair over 4 inches. So I think it's a perfect size for EDC. So I've always liked the Ultratech. It's one of the better out the fronts out there. I mean, Microtech kind of owns this market. There's a few others, but it's actually the best deal I think on an out the front. It's a good out the front, and it's reliable, and it has good fit and finish. So it's 3.125 on the UTX-85. So 4.5 inch handle. So it's actually only about a half an inch shorter than the Ultratech. But you get just a little bit shorter blade. It weighs 3.2 ounces, so it's super lightweight, great for carry, everyday carry. It's a really good EDC knife, and of course it's double action. The steel they're using on these, I believe, is S35 VN or L-Max, and this one is L-Max. Actually, I think all of them are L-Max. I think the old ones were S35. So these are all L-Max, same as the Ultratechs. And their edge retention on the L-Max is really good. That's one of those steels that it's kind of, there's been some controversy around that steel, how well it holds an edge. And, I think it's been just fine. I mean, on the Ultratech, so I haven't had any issues at all with edge retention. I haven't really used this knife a whole ton though, so. But there's a good size comparison, so you can kind of see the difference between the two. So go ahead and fire that and shut. Now one of my big reasons why I want to pick this up, because I just don't really ever carry my Ultratech, and it's just because it's got quite a bit longer of a handle, and other than that, I mean, that's really the only reason why. It's just a little bit bigger. And I wasn't a huge fan of this glass breaker. This is the old style glass breaker, which was pretty sharp. I actually took a ceramic stone from my sharp maker and kind of rounded it, but it still got a point. So when you stick your hand in your pocket to grab this knife, it stabs you pretty much over and over. So it's a great design, but I was really stoked when I saw they were bringing out the UTX-85 again, and that it was it had some of the new design elements, some of the newer Ultratechs, like the tri-grips. It has the carbide tip, it's rounded, not sharp at all, doesn't hurt your hand, not in the slightest. So that's kind of a nice updated feature. They updated the button as well. You can see here it's got the new Ultratech button versus the old one here. And that just gives you quite a bit more purchase on the button. And so it just helps activate the blade a little bit better. I would say that this one fires out faster and smoother than the Ultratech. And I believe they use the same spring mechanism, but you have a lighter blade, so it's just a little bit snappier. I mean, it's smoother, easier to deploy. This is my second Ultratech. My first one was like really hard to deploy. This one's not at all, but the 85 is definitely smoother. So that's a big plus for me. As soon as I picked it up and fired it a few times at Blade Ops where I picked this up, I just knew, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a lot easier to deploy. So good EDC size, lightweight, slim carry. So what they did as well, if you notice here, This is a small difference, but I noticed this immediately. They took the date and the serial number off the knife and put it on the blade. So you can see here you have the UTX-85 SE. Excuse me, not the serial number, but they took the date and serial number off this, and then they put it on the pocket clip. So you can't really see it. It's not like as obvious like on this one. It's like, hey, look, this knife was born here, and then, here's the serial number. And here you have to look on the clip. For some reason that's not getting picked up. There we go. Serial number, it's like 100, 108. It's really low. And then 12, 2015. So this is a brand new, just barely made knife. So it still has it on there, so that way you can kind of tell. There's a lot of fakes of these knives out there, a lot of clones, so you can, make sure if you're buying one it has those dates on it. I think that's the determining factor there. Scratch that up a little bit. But yeah, so it's got rounded edges now. The original UTX-85s didn't have these kind of chamfered rounded edges, so it's a lot smoother in the hand, less pointy, not less sharp points. This Ultratech has the similar, actually this one doesn't at all, so it's not rounded. You can kind of see the difference there versus it's completely flat here. You can see the rounded edges here, so that makes it a little bit nicer, a little bit more comfortable in the hand, I think. Less of a square, rounding that off a little bit just makes it a little nicer. Looks like they use the same pocket clip, they're actually identical pocket clips. And they, like I said, they did the change there on the glass breaker, which is really nice because that was kind of annoying. One of the things, it's good, for tactical purposes, I guess, but for an EDC, which is what most of us use our knives for, it was annoying to always get stabbed by that glass breaker. So this is a really good size, guys. Really comfortable in the hand. I can't imagine how I would have already scratched this up that much. That kind of sucks. But really dig it. Really good size. So this is just kind of initial impressions video overview. It's a new knife to me. Haven't had it very long, but it's cool to see that they brought these back because I think they were pretty popular before, and I'm not exactly sure why they were discontinued by old Microtech, but they were, so they're back, which is awesome because it's a perfect size, I think. It has a little bit snappier action. It has an improved button. Like I said, it has the rounded edges now. Same actually these are and this is different hardware even than the Ultratechs. So this is why it's cool to have another knife next to you that's similar, so you can compare it. So these have the old school looking proprietary hardware. I think these are called the Tri-Wing or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what this one's called, but the different hardware. So you got a hardware upgrade. They're still proprietary, so you still need a tool. But I noticed Blade HQ sells a tool for pretty cheap for Microtech knives. If you wanted to take this apart, it's typically not recommended. These are covered under a lifetime warranty, so you could send it right into Microtech and not have to worry about it. Just they'll take care of whatever issues it has. So pretty slim overall. Let me get out my calipers. Just gonna give you an idea how slim the blade stock is and how slim the handle is. Open the camera, my bad. So you're looking at, let's see, let's get that all zeroed. So it's about 0.46 inches wide and pretty. So it's under a ½ inch thick. It's pretty slim. Your blade stock is, looks like it widens here towards the tip a little bit. So let's go up there. So your widest point is 0.128 inches thick. Your thinnest, actually your widest point is technically here where it fires, so let's check that out. 1.245, and then your stock is 1.235, so not a whole lot of difference. And behind the edge, let's look at this. 0.004, so it's really thin behind the edge, so it should be a pretty good slicer, definitely. So the action, it's hard to, I mean you can see me doing it. You may not have noticed a difference between these two, but it's definitely quicker. And I can tell you the feel, it takes more pressure to open the Ultratech versus this. That could be just because of the improved button, but I also think it's because it's a lighter weight, smaller blade. So it just flies out. really smooth deployment. This is a little more sluggish. This is quick, smooth, get in and out. So very cool little out the front knife. If you can carry an automatic knife in your state, then you should get one of these because they're awesome. Price wise, $200, just a little hair over 200, 209 I think is what we got it for. Really good value when you think about the blade steel you're getting a nice out the front with very, very good action and good fit and finish. There's always going to be some blade play on out the fronts, but it's very minimal on this compared to like a Boker, not a Boker, what's the one, Lightning, which is like $30, but you know, fit and finish is 10 times better, and you get a mystery still there. With this, you know, you get L-Max, heat treated well. It's a good looking two-tone blade, the DLC finish, and then the satin flats up here, pretty slick, and you got your nice little fuller there. So it's just a good looking knife. Also makes for a great EDC. I mean, it's just a good size. I have medium hands, and you know, you get full grip on that thing, but you don't have lots of extra handle. The Ultratech for me was always a little, you know, a lot sticking out. So, alright guys, there you go. There's a little comparison between the Microtech Ultratech and the new Microtech UTX-85. These are in stock at most dealers, but they're flying off the shelves. I know Blade Ops was telling me they're selling these like crazy. Blade HQ had them. One had a short run before, sold out. They just got more in. So they're kind of trickling in now, but they're pretty hot items, and I would like to see them come out with more colors as well, like they've been doing with the Ultratech. I guess that'll depend on how they sell. It'd be cool to see this anodized in a flat dark earth, or you know, I've seen the orange, red, blue, make all kinds of cool colors. So it'd be really cool to see them come out with more colors. But it's just a great size, and I hope to see this model stick around a lot longer than it did before. So, alright guys, that's going to wrap this one up. If any questions or comments on the Microtech UTX-85, please leave them down below. We'll see you on the next video.